5, also known as the host with the most. Welcome back to the ELU podcast. Week number 5 is in the book, so of course, this is the podcast where you watch three players talk about their games. We feature somebody special in the week. You get the gist already. We've been doing this for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, including the preseason one. Today I'm joined with always my wonderful hosts, Mr. SpiritTracks and Mr. Mikeypooh.
Welcome.
Howdy, howdy.
And of course, my favorite ADC player is our guest host today, Mr. IsoSquare of TPP.
Sorry guys.
Don't mind it. Me and Mikey are coming. We are recovering from something.
Yeah, we're recovering. I don't have COVID. I promise. We're good.
Yeah,
It's
that's
okay.
what he wants you to think.
I was only
That's
food
what they want.
poisoned. I'm okay. All right. So, Iso, how are you today?
I'm alright.
That's good. That's good. I assume you are ready to talk about these games today, from what
Yeah,
little you have
yeah.
seen of them. So I just realized that TAD versus GCA was actually on Sunday, so I'm just gonna skip their series for now and go to the first stream series, which was you guys and TKK.
Yeah.
Bit of an upset is
Some
a
griefing occurred. Some griefing occurred.
the little bit of trolling happened. Would be the right words to say. I did not expect that. I don't think anybody ever expected you guys to just drop like that. And it looked like you did find your rhythm game 3, but you had already lost the series.
Yeah. That
So-
point we were just playing to at least win a game and not get 3-0'd.
Which you did, which is good. Uh, okay, so let's start it off. Mikey, did you watch these
Yeah.
games?
Yes, watched them all. Well, I missed a good portion of the first game, but I did get the end of it, and I
You
watched.
didn't miss much.
Yeah, it's like I watched the next two and half of the first one. So
Just game 1 was basically game 2.
yeah,
Just a different tank in the bot lane.
I will say, well, I didn't watch all game 1, but game 2 was I thought it was close personally. You guys might not think so because you guys are used to stomping teams, but I thought you guys did pretty well as far as you made it competitive when it probably shouldn't have been competitive. Like PKK had such a lead. I think you guys, the silver lining for you guys is you guys did well with the lead they had, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
I would say TKK is definitely nothing to mess with. They now have a positive record. They've won the last 3 series in a row, which is a fairly good win streak for ELU. I will definitely put them as I'm hesitant to say lock-in for playoffs, but I think it's near that time where I can say they're a lock-in for playoffs. So, hats off to them.
Yeah, something I really liked about this series is they brought out the Senna, the fasting Senna. Like, we don't really see that anymore because, I mean, most people think it's pretty bad, but they made it work. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it caught you guys pretty off guard. You weren't
Yeah,
totally
we just
sure.
did not. And we
Yeah.
thought game 2, if we just banned Tom Kench, then they wouldn't play Senna
And they
again.
picked Mordecai. Like, what? Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. Like, I hate playing against it. I hate playing as it, but like when it's strong, it's like ridiculous. And like it's not super strong right now, but they played it really well, and gotta give them props for that.
Yeah. So as far as like you don't have to go deep into game plans to give anything away to other teams, but what would you say generally went wrong that series, ISO?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely did not expect that out of the bot lane.
Oh yeah,
And
the troll stuff. Yeah.
it made it really, really hard to actually just like do anything. Cause in game 1, we were up like we'd gotten a few plate spot. I was like, the Tom Kench couldn't farm. Just getting we perma pushing him in. But like it didn't matter that he couldn't farm because as long as he has like chains or whatever, like one tank item, I'm kind of useless if he just W's onto me. And like
Yeah.
once Tom gets onto me to carry, they kind of just die if they have no one to help them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I mean, As a whole, I think we all just were super surprised, and we it showed I think in game one because we just all lost lane. We all just like it was just like a everyone lost.
Yeah.
Uh, a little bit of that carried over into game two. I think we picked Skarner because we wanted to try and do something, but then we just kept not like actually getting to get plays off, so it just felt like we were stagnating. And then like once we fell behind, it was hard to pick it back up. And we just tried to be more. And then game three, like, we just tried to be more aggressive. And game three, we banned the Senna, so they had to play a regular bot, and then we were able to actually like do something bot lane.
Yeah. I know on TKK side, usually it's Fidzik in the jungle who's hard carrying their games, but it looked like in this series that their solo laners really stepped up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
made like Fidzik still playing well, but like he just didn't really have to do as much.
They also had the I think Vacant Tech was playing AD those
Mhm.
first two
Yeah, yeah,
games. He's their like sub top laner, so they didn't have the regular ADC.
that might be why they pulled out
So
the
I think that's why they pulled
TK
out
Senna.
the Senna.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm hesitant to think it will work again because I think if anyone sees that Vacant Tech will be bot lane, they'll just ban Senna.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's probably the case, but like honestly, like they were up against a top
Hey,
team.
take your
They
wins
just
when you can get them. Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
get the
they just
cheese out.
exactly, yeah. Um, so I mean, they did a good job with that. Like they came with a plan and caught you guys off guard, which
So
I
sad
mean,
TPP just got Vietnam'd at MSI.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess yeah. I guess Vietnam did pull out a lot of those cheese strategies, and it did really
The
well.
4-minute level 6 Nocturne gank.
Yeah, right.
That was a
So
horrifying time.
right.
Yeah.
I do have one quick last question on this game for ISO.
Yeah.
What are you at all worried that you might lose your first round bye? Because I think that's the main thing that between GCA, LLW, and TPP, and even New York Mutants, put
Yeah.
them in there too. I think those four teams are fighting for that first round bye. Are you kind of worried you might lose it?
To be honest, no. I think we can still secure second. I think we'll pull it together. For towards the end of the season, we'll start to pull it together.
Well, this matchup you have next week is one of the
Yeah,
most important to
I
secure
think
that.
if we can overcome NYM, if we can 3-0 NYM, then I think we can pretty definitively secure second.
Yeah, that first round bye is super important.
LLW will pay handsomely for a 3-0
Bro.
of New York Mutants.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, I
you
was
know,
about to say
we
right now they have
we
the first
might
seed.
have to do a bit of trolling.
We might have to do a little bit of trolling,
Yeah,
but
what if
Hey,
we
you-
want
hey,
if
my
we
ears
want
are
third
my-
place, so then you have to play NYM.
Hey, my
on
ears
your
are
side of the
plugged.
bracket.
I didn't hear any of that. What do you?
but what
This
if
is
we get
competitive league, I
second
didn't
place
hear-
instead, and then you're just stuck without a buy at all?
True.
Late
true.
roll,
Late troll.
and then
Yeah,
first
I mean,
place, and then
third-
whoever's first place picks the weaker team. So it's LLW versus TPP in the semifinals. Oh my god.
True. Like SKT versus Damwon.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my god. This script
But then,
just
but then
writes
whoever wins
itself.
that game gets upset, just like EG.
True.
Yeah,
And then we
just like
get
EG.
Edward skins.
True.
By the way,
Absolutely.
quick note: did you hear that all the EDG players got like houses bought for them? Did
Yeah.
you hear that?
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I think they're like $200,000
yeah,
houses.
they're
Jeez.
EDG, the company, bought them all five of them houses. Yeah,
Yeah.
including all the money they get paid, obviously.
Hey, you like to see it.
Anyway,
Because the
sorry.
Chinese salary cap isn't
So what
real.
you're saying is that you're gonna buy whoever wins. You're gonna buy us
Yes.
a house.
Yeah, but it's gonna be made out
Wow.
of cardboard. It's gonna be made out of cardboard, and I'll just like.
Hey,
Hey, I'll settle for an apartment.
I'll settle
We
for
can
a
meet in the middle
condo.
there.
Hey, I'm already putting money into this kernel system. All right, I'm gonna go pour off that.
Okay, next series that we are going to move on to. So TKK does get the upset victory. I do think they did play the series very well. I do like how they played those games, especially. I compare it, yeah, exactly like how Vietnam would play, basically, where they use cheese tactics, or I wouldn't say cheese tactics, just unexpected tactics that nobody in this league has ever like played Senna. So they were like, "Wait, what? Senna? What do we do?" And then it's just like, "Oh, wait a second, that guy's a tank. Oh, wait a second, it's fasting Senna."
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool that they were able to pull that into their back pocket like that. Sucks that they revealed it so early, because now you know exactly what to ban now as well. I mean, it works against TPP, but if they like go into a playoff scenario and they try to pull out the Senna again, then it just kind of
There
seems
could
like
be counter to it, yeah.
teams would
Yeah, I don't
already
want to
have a
sound
counter.
cocky, but I do think we would beat them without Senna again.
True, I agree.
Mhm.
All right, so then we move on to New York Mutants versus GCC.
All right, I'll start.
Oh, were we gonna do?
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
last
impact
week how we
first.
did we did awards with them. Are we not doing that this
Oh,
week again?
yeah, you're right. My bad, my bad.
It just I think it worked out better that way. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
All right, so
Yeah.
awards, MVPs.
I'm pushing for either Peels, probably Peels and for Salto for.
Yeah, I think Peels for
Ooh,
sure.
that's the first week Fidsick didn't get something. That's fair.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like their solo laners just stepped up huge, and well, Fitzik played well. He didn't really have to do as much. He
I
was
think
just kind of there.
Peels
as
like
support.
solo won game 2 on Wukong.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I would give Peels the MVP as well. Under the
Mhm.
radar could go between Fidsick and Salto, but I don't mind Salto either.
What about Hopeless?
Oh, he did very well too. I think
Yeah,
we gave
did
him
well.
an award last week. Yeah, we did give him last week.
The thing, like, I feel like when you play Senna, you're just kind of down there to like neutralize the lane. You play these Senna and like the tank, you just like kind of scale up a bit, and you kind of play out the rest of your team on the lead they can get. I think that was like this. I don't know if that's the strategy they wanted to use against Iso and Scalene, since you're one of the best bot lanes. They're like, all right, we'll just turtle. So I feel like if the rest of the map didn't get ahead, then I don't know, the impact would have been kind of negligible. I think the reason he looked good is because the rest of his team pulled ahead.
I'm okay with that point of view. And unfortunately, since I missed basically all of game 1, it's hard for me to give an educated opinion. But I agree from the 2 games I saw, I agree with everything you guys said.
Gotcha.
What I'm really stuck on is MVP of the losers. That's the actual award I'm stuck on.
I was leaning towards Wyke. He had the good Vlad game, and then it seemed like game 2, like he was trying his best to pull that back.
I agree.
Game 1, there was some, like, everyone was, I don't know, just fighting back, but game 2, it just felt like he was dragging people.
Okay, I can agree with that.
I think we'll put in another award here. Worst player, IsoSquare. No, I'm just kidding. I
Oh,
make
yeah,
that joke.
for sure.
I make
for
that
sure.
joke every week for every guest we have.
No, I
every
want the
guest
award.
we
No,
have
no,
on.
I want it. I want it.
I want it.
At least I can have an award.
I want the
I
motivation,
make that
Mikey.
joke every week. When Scalene was on, I was like, worst player ever. He's like, for sure.
True.
he's like, you
Can
wrong.
confirm. I actually play on his account for him.
Okay.
You play on both at the same time.
Yeah, I mean that's what feeder for, right?
Exactly. Any random awards for this game, or just move on? Probably.
I would give Hopeless something to do with Senna, because
Okay.
I think
The
I don't
Sentinel
know.
light.
Can we do Senna
boom.
Simp? Senna Simp?
There you go,
Yeah.
Senna Simp. All right.
Oh, give it to Hopeless.
All right.
Senna Simp award.
This is
There we
going to
go.
be a quick retelling of this series.
This one was rough. So again, another unfortunate week for GCC. We just heard, or we just found out that Trendsetter has a life, and so he couldn't play. Which, I mean, what can you do? Like, life comes first.
Unheard
Yeah.
of around these parts.
Yeah.
Unheard of. Life coming
yeah.
first.
Exactly. So we were kind of scrambling for our roster around. Game 1, I think we were like, all right, we're gonna run this. We go for kind of we give them MF. We try to play the J4 Ziggs, just trap the MF in the cage and bomb them. But I mean, we were swapped the roster out, so they just had better coordination around different areas map and just kind of beat us everywhere.
So
was
I
game one. Yeah.
do have something to say about that. I just don't
Mhm.
like you playing Ziggs. That's just a personal pet peeve of mine.
I love Ziggs though. I know.
I understand you love Ziggs, but like, if you are playing Ziggs, you have to trust in your team to do a lot more physical damage.
Mhm.
And right now, I think you are the sole carry of GCC. So you playing like pure AP, Ziggs. I mean, you may like the champion. I just don't think it fits you.
That was something we were considering in draft for that game one. We're like, all right, we have Trist, we have Ziggs, we can just flip them. We thought the Jace was top, and so when it swapped mid, we felt that like, oh, Trist is a bit better into Jace. She can fight back a bit more in the early stages. And then I also like Ziggs into MF. But I think if we did switch it, it could have gone differently. Just because. But I don't know. Yeah, I think there is merit to what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. And then game two, we were like, all right, they're better than us macro-wise. Let's turn this into a disaster. And so we were just like taking every fight we could. And we ended up just losing out on the fights. I flash jumped on Triss, like flash jumped into like 3 people twice. I pulled a tactical. So I was feeling it a bit too much. But yeah, and then game 3 was the patent pending TAD for fun game. Just swatch up the roles.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah. Dude, I had some good kicks. I had like two or three good kicks.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I stopped watching after game 2.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm very sorry. I think that you are a team of brightness with your dual carry system, and it's just shame we only got to see young Trendsetter twice in 2 series.
Yeah, he was really fun to watch. Fun to play with too. He just went. I don't know. He knew what he was doing, and that was fun to play with. But I mean, what can you do?
Well, positive things for the series. Sad for GCC, but positive things. New York Mutants retains their #1 spot in the standings, but they do have the 2 hardest tests ahead of them, in my opinion. They play LLW and then TPP 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a good thing, like I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, where I believe New York Mutants are a top 4 playoff team. But if they beat TPP, then if they can beat TPP, they can beat us.
Mm-hmm. I think I think there's a good shot that
if TPP can be slain, then LLW will definitely bleed.
Yeah. I think there's a good chance they win one of those series, and then take one game off the other one. So I think they go 3-3 in those 2 series,
which is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to like discredit that because that's against the 2 returning like best teams from season 1.
Mini Soko is just too good.
Mini Soko is just smurfing.
Honestly,
Small Hawk is just smurfing so hard.
Yeah, I think he's really stepped up this season. He played well last season too on GCC. But I think he got himself a better team than GCC last year, and's really just come into his own. Really stepped up and fits a role on that team.
Yeah, there's not really much to say about this series except, I guess I will ask you, SpiritTracks. You guys are right outside of the playoff window, but there's still hope.
We got standings.
Yeah. I hope you guys haven't lost
6th place
all hope.
right now is 5 wins, and you are at 4.
So when I look, so we have GCA, we have LLW, we have TPP, and then we have TAD. I think we can beat TAD, maybe 2-1, maybe 3-0, and then I think max, like straight up, we get 2 or 3 games in those last series. So that would put us at, I think, what Stormblade has us at like 7. I think that's pretty accurate. 7,
Could
maybe
make playoffs
8.
with that.
Yeah. The issue is War has Rev, and no offense to Rev, but they're most likely a 3-0, an 0-3. So that puts them at 8, and so they,
BKK also plays Rev.
yeah. So I think it's bleak, straight up. But I think
have
there
a-
is a shot.
You
I
gotta
have
pay off
a-
Rev for some upsets.
Yeah.
I actually have a kind of probably an unpopular opinion, but a gamble. I actually think Rev takes a game off Wardens next week. One game, just
I
one
could see
game.
it. I could see
Yeah.
one game.
I that's my upset. It's not even an upset pick because they'll lose the series. I just think upset they take a game off them.
I
Yeah,
feel
like
if
it was.
War loses a game to Rev, then that is extremely tilting for them, and I think that would
This
be
is-
the catalyst for them to lose the series.
This is one of their most important series next week. They can't drop a game at all. Like they have
Mhm.
to take it seriously. Wardens have to take every game seriously.
Wardens have they go Rev, they take a bye, then they go against GCA, and then they go against TKK.
Ooh, that's a tough series.
So-
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that
a
I-
tough
TKK
series.
game will be like super important.
Yeah,
The
that'll be-
TKK
playoffs.
has playoff like
That's
standings
basically
probably.
like their. That's basically like, do they make playoffs or not? If they can beat TKK.
Yeah.
I think at that
one-
point we would already know who's going to playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that it would just
But that
be
that
determining
sixth
standings.
spot might be like, do they edge it in or not?
True, and TAD could still make a resurgence.
I think TAD has a better shot of making playoffs than GCC based on their, I think Sunny's ability to, if he steps it up and starts hard carrying a bit more, then that's a. And I think their schedule is easier too. So I think that's like the push to set 6 that people should be looking for to upset War.
TAD
I do think
goes against
Well,
GCC,
TAD does have
TPP,
LW and TPP.
LLW, and then
They do
Rev.
have too. All right, yeah. So LOW, TPP, probably not great series, and then but I think Rev
GCC and Rev.
and then GCC. I think GCC series. That's this weekend. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's going to be.
Huge.
Yeah, for, like I think whoever wins
That-
that series is
that will
or whoever
basically
loses that
help
series is
us-
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that will help us determine like who's out of the playoff race entirely, because Rev is still in the playoff race, but I think if they lose 3-0 this week, then
They're out.
they still technically are in it,
hmm
because then they would have to 3-0 every other series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think everyone in the community would vote them out.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, so
I think
Impact
before we go to the
players?
next game for NYM, since we're talking about them,
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if any of you guys know, but we play on Saturday. We won't have our jungler, and they won't have their support. So they're playing with sub support. We're playing with sub jungler.
so Mr. Macheese,
Yeah, and we're gonna try to get the guy we have, but if he doesn't show up, then just someone from the sub pool.
you're gonna try and get
You
El
mean you're
Monkey.
the best sub ever?
Please
me?
don't get Mikey. I don't want to hear another subgate.
You mean the best Teemo sub ever? I will play.
Coincidentally, they're both going to weddings.
Hey.
Same wedding? Question
I don't
mark?
know. Yeah, our jungler and their support are both going to
Hmm.
weddings.
Are
Question
they
mark.
getting married? Are they?
Hmm.
Maybe.
Are they? I'm just kidding.
Wow. ELU, the barrier of love and League of Legends.
Hey. We
All right.
bring people together. That's what we do.
So, I am going to put on the LLW versus War real quick as I use the bathroom. I will let you guys discuss this series.
We should do impact players, right? For
Oh.
NYM GCC. Yeah.
Yeah.
NYM.
Just
my
Type it out
vote,
what you guys think. I'll vote
Yeah.
whatever the popular opinion is.
hmm
My votes are for Solomon and either Toad or Minisoko.
Yeah,
Solomon
I
as
think Solomon was
MVP.
like the catalyst for
Yeah.
every lane
Oh,
to get
Did
ahead.
you guys see that Viego play he made? Like I think it was like halfway through game 2, where like he kills 3 people in a 1v5 and gets out. Like, and
I'll be
shoots.
honest though, that's what Viego does.
Dude,
I don't even
I
know. That is
just
what.
about broke my keyboard. Like,
I mean, no. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. Solomon
Yeah.
Khan, I think he's one
like
of the
he
top
played
junglers in
super
ELU by
well.
far.
Oh my god, it was
It's just when somebody does
brutal to
that
play
on
against
Viego.
him.
When somebody does that on Viego, I break my keyboard more because Viego exists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh my god.
But hey, Solomon, I agree. Solomon should get the MVP. I actually gave Under the Radar to Toad personally.
Yeah, I think that's good too.
No, what was the other? Who was the other?
I had
Mini
Minisoko.
Soko. The only thing I
That's
will
not-
say for Mini Soko is that game 3. I mean, I know they were playing some off rolls, but the Tom Kenshin to Vayne looked very, very rough for the.
Hey,
for the
but
Vayne.
I mean,
even if you're
yeah.
even if you're playing off rolls and doing that stuff, that like you have to realize that's gonna affect the awards if you're troll
Yeah.
like that, you know.
The Vayne did go 1-11, so.
Yeah, that was I think Seda.
Oh yeah, was it?
Yeah, and then
Let me make sure I have that accurate. I think you're right though.
and then this we also had
Yeah, it was Seda.
yeah, sub to anyway, yeah, but I think Toad gets it too because the Jace flex he played very well on, and
Yeah.
I think so many people are like are worried about like his rise, like these like high DPS AP people, and then
Yeah.
like they ban that out and they're like, all right, whatever, we got him, and then they play Jace mid, more top, Graves mid, Silas top, Talon mid. Like he has this entire array of 80 champions that just allows the rest of his team to tech into some AP like counter matchups, like the Silas into the Cho'Gath is a good matchup. Mordekaiser into Ornn. Like that, they last picked Mord into Ornn, which we thought we counter picked top, and that swung the lane in their favor. So I think that versatility really helps them.
Yeah,
do
and
well.
that second game Graves could have also gone top.
I think what Minisoko said that in his post game was like, yeah, we just picked 3 flex picks, and we're like, all right,
Yeah,
let's see
yeah,
how
he
it
does
ends
not
up.
play those champions.
Yeah. So I mean, they did well. He did well. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Wait, we did we settle on MVP of the losers? We didn't, did we?
No.
Okay.
Have fun with this one, guys.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, give me 1 sec. Let me do some last minute analysis. Last minute. I should have had a. This is one of the awards I didn't have preset. Sometimes MVP of the losers, I don't have a preset one in my head, and I let you guys try and.
Honestly,
you know,
yeah, I got nothing. Like, I mean, I think Ares.
Like, give your team some credit.
Yeah, like I mean,
I
well,
think give
yeah, I
Ares
mean,
credit because they did swap to jungle. They had to swap and fill
Yeah.
for jungle.
I think Seda did pretty well. Mid, swapping from top. Ares did well jungling, and then he also had a good game 3 on the Irelia. The thing that makes it hard is that like everyone kind of did the same.
Yeah.
Like
It
you,
seemed like
yeah.
you all did
We
all
did
the same
We
performance.
all basically
Yeah.
did the same, yeah.
So I mean, I think I would lean towards Ares just because we're putting him in an off role,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
like stepping up into the role.
Just looking at the screenshots too, and I know that screenshots don't show the game. I watched some of these games. I'd also give it to Ares too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Yep, me too.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And then
You know
Alright,
what?
LLW awards
I'll
now.
give a 4th award to Should I give it to Minisoko? Although, or no?
under the radar MVP.
No, I already gave Under the Radar to Toad.
Well, yeah, but it's the double under the radar.
Oh, the double so far under the radar, underwater,
Deep under the radar,
I
yeah.
don't know.
All right. So all right, LW War. This series kind of reminded me of the TPP TKK series, where like the first 2 games are just blowouts, and then the last game are all right.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
pull it together, and they run it back. Game 3 was a lot closer than the game 3 of your series, but I mean,
I think War took it a lot slower
Yeah, yeah.
Because they were more worried about comeback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey. I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
Welcome back. Don't worry. We just started on your series. What do you got? What do you got to say on it?
We were just flaming you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I expected, honestly. After
we were
reading
just like-
E-League chat today, I expected.
We were just saying how you missed like 3 CS.
True.
Dude,
I'm-
I saw you
oh my God.
drop like
didn't-
2
actually.
cannons.
I didn't pin
unacceptable.
perfect the CS.
Yeah, we saw that cannon minion.
I am
We
so
all saw
bad.
it.
I'm so sorry about that.
We'll
Anyway,
forgive you this
for the
time.
awards, what did we decide?
We
We
were
put-
pretty much unanimous.
yeah.
Oh, go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, we put MVP on. Where's the thing? We put MVP on Solomon and Under the Radar on Toad, and then loser MVP on Ares. And then we're just about to start LW War.
Okay. Well then, I mean,
Yeah, so,
I know what to say about this series.
Yeah.
Because,
This is your series, so I'll give you first word.
we won. After we
All right,
felt
expert
disrespected.
analysis. Who's up next?
After
Who's up
we
next?
felt disrespected by Hector. Not Hector.
Yeah.
Not Hector.
Dude, how
Well,
can anyone?
Do I just
Paris.
need to read what I put for the article, or
I
what?
think Karis.
Did you
I
post the article?
think it was.
No, I posted after the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, okay.
So this
Um,
was brought to my attention by one of my teammates who was in the stream of Karis while they were playing. I think you guys, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't worry, LLW is just a bunch of low-rank noobs that somehow win. We'll kick their ass," or something like that.
And you took that personally.
I
what's
was
that,
like-
And I took that
what's that mean?
personal?
What's
The
that
Michael
mean?
Jordan meme
Yeah,
of
the
I
Michael
took
Jordan
that
meme.
personally was like, huh? What did we even say to these guys? Like, what happened?
Yeah, you just beat him. Yeah, I mean,
That's not at all what I said. That is what I was told. So,
anyway, when I look at the games, like it really felt like the first 2 games, it was kind of just controlled from the beginning. I know Soko just plays literally everything, but like whenever I see him on Olaf, it's just like, I don't know, it makes me shed a tear. Just like it's just beautiful. Like I just watch it and I'm like, oh my god, this belongs in the museum.
Hey, you should have seen those Olafs in like flex games with me. You
Yeah.
The
those
learning
tears of
pains.
despair, not tears of joy.
Yeah, but like that game 1, he took over. Game 2 just looked like a Volibear LeBlanc mid camp. And then Stormblade just transitions his lead all over the map, which he's very good at when he plays these like roam capable champions. So it kind of just seemed like War ran into some of the issues they did against TPP in these first 2 games, where the early game just gets completely out of hand. Like they just don't control the jungler enough, and they just snowball, and there's nothing really they can do. Game 3, they turned it around. I think some of the picks on LLW, I really is just Rex. I don't like Rek'Sai. It's just she feels good in the early game, but then you get past 15 minutes, and if she's not turbo fed, she's a little rough. And it did
Yeah.
look like Soko got fed on here, but like,
that game was Stormblade quote ego game, and we all said, "Stormblade, you're egoing. Stop. Let's not do this." And he's like, "No, we got this." I'm just like,
Yeah.
"No, we don't. Come on." Stormblade's limit test game is always what we like to call them. Just like the thigh high Crocus where he kill steals, it's the Stormblade limit test, where he knows it's a completely losing fight, but then be like, today I will go in.
oh, that's me in every solo queue game I play.
No,
It's like-
but I do think the comp could have worked better if Ruckus didn't get behind so early.
Yeah,
Because-
that looked a little rough.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that game, but with a Mordekaiser that's like 4, 5, and like 10. That'd be a different game. I
Yeah.
think it's a potentially a bit better for us, I still think we would have lost eventually because Pike late game just one shots,
Money printer.
literally burr, and I think Chief Patar is really good on Pike, so we didn't respect Bandit, and he pulled it out, and then Daihai was like, "Yeah, we'll play Rel," and just like, wait a second, I've seen this before.
Yeah,
It didn't work out too well.
I do want to give credit to War in that game 3. Like, it's hard to get like smacked in 2 games. Just reset your mental in game 3, and they did. It was sloppy. They did well capitalizing on top lane, and AS Brady got ahead on the Urgot, but it was a good job closing it out. It's good rebound,
Do you
salvage
think
game.
certain fights could have been turned, but I didn't have ult?
Yeah,
There was like 2 fights that could have been turned completely. I just didn't have ult, and I like telling my team, "Hey, I don't have ult here," but they're like, "We still have to try anyway."
You're on
Someone-
MF, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, when Axiomorph gets added, it's gonna be so good for MF.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck.
That item is insane already. AP champion's just hard rushing it. It's totally not broken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I'll also say. I think this is the Samira Pike. I think this is a run back. Yeah, they ran this
They play
against
that a lot, yeah. I think they
TPP.
played it against us, yeah.
Yeah, and it did nothing. Like the Samira was 3-1, but the rest of the map just got demolished. So the ability for them to not win the lane, but like get into the mid game where the Pike. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's Karis.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
Cars,
Karis.
Yeah.
Sorry, Twitch names trip me up so much.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it sometimes, like I just don't know who people are, so it's just like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
In terms of what am I saying? Impact players on LLW, I'm leaning for MVP hard towards Soko.
Okay.
Specifically the game 1 performance. Game 2 was also just him and Stormblade just hard stomping the game. So I don't know.
I'm
What do you
with you
guys
on
think?
that one.
Yeah.
So under the radar, probably Stormblade then, or no?
Nitro, what are your thoughts on like how do you see it from inside the game? It's like if it's true that Stormblade griefed the 3rd game, like you want to do you want to shove that his way or like?
No, I don't
Like-
hold anything against Storm. I
Yeah.
rarely hold any like actual grudges against any players in this league because, like,
But Storm didn't put me at number 1 on his list.
oh my god, so
Yeah, so
so
I think Soko Storm.
yeah, we'll talk about that later because don't get me
I'm not
started
even on the
that.
list. I'm mad. I'm
I
mad.
think Mikey
Yeah.
deserves to be number 1 in every role.
I think
True.
I deserve number 1 in every role.
Yeah,
Mikeypooh,
we have to
Supreme
leave you
Leader.
out because you're like 105 in his.
Oh yeah. I wasn't even on the list because
It
it
would
only
make
goes to
everyone else feel
99.
bad.
You are the Kobe Bryant Legends Edition.
The Legends Edition. Yes. Yeah.
That's
I'm
what
like
you are.
Dr. J in that really old
I do want to
basketball
give
game.
credit to War for them not just for them
Rolling
actually
over.
playing out Game 3 because
They didn't roll over and die. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because I mean, Game 3 was getting to the point where we were coming back, and I guess them not FFing was really good on their mental because
Mhm.
they thought that they were like, we still got a shot in this, and they won
Yeah.
them the game. Even though like the gold graph won't like particularly say it, they'll always ahead in gold. Like at around 15, the game kind of blew up as well for them.
Mhm.
But we were making steady comeback, slowly like crawling away at it, and then it just mega blew up in one fight, and we were just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that sucks.
I especially like Prady's Urgot. They played that against us. Like it always does well. I don't know if teams really ban this against him. I'm not sure if it's main champion, but like whenever he plays it, he always seems to do well. And I think they recognized it this game. They did a good job getting him ahead, and he was able to have pretty big impact in the like team team portions of the game. So
There was no response to the Urgot we
yeah,
could have had.
yeah,
I had to go lethality because there's 4 squishy champions.
yeah,
If I
The only
go,
reason
Yes.
it wasn't an issue against us was because Nephil is the Urgot one trick.
yeah.
Well,
It's how to
yeah.
play against Urgot.
yeah, because yeah, well, your top
Um,
laner only like spams Urgot, and then well, you know.
And you have 600 games on the champion.
Dude,
Uh,
this league is
and
like
so many
the
Urgots.
this league is like the Urgot LeBlanc league. Like Urgot LeBlanc, every mid
And,
laner and every top laner.
I'll throw Trundle in there too. I see Trundle way
Yeah,
too
Tru-
much.
yeah.
True.
Yeah, Trundle, yeah.
Trundle's a lot easier though.
We'll just rename it to that. Forget ELU. Let's find a different acronym
Yeah.
for those three things.
The the Alt League, Urgot LeBlanc Trundle.
So,
Oh
yeah,
no,
that's
we
what I was
gotta
leaning
include
for under the
Zaya as
radar.
well. We gotta include
yeah.
Zaya as well because ISO loves Zaya.
Well,
She's-
Nitro. I guess Nitro probably doesn't want to even say his under the radar pick because it's his own team. But I mean, if you would be frank with us, who do you think under the radar should be Nitro?
Well, my MVP is always Storm because Storm is our in-game leader and is the reason why we get shit done. That's
Yeah,
why
Sounds
the
like a good under
moment
the radar.
that I just said he's my MVP always because
Yeah.
Storm's
But,
my
so
homie.
I
but-
kind of
but I'm
agree
giving
with
that to Soko. I'm
Well,
giving that
okay.
to Soko.
From a outsider perspective.
I would
it would
still
be
give it to Stormblade
But
because I see
well,
I see scoreline big, me smile.
All right. Well,
Yeah, wait, you also have to take into account that I think the way you guys do play a lot of Soko like enabling Stormblade to go for those
Mm.
plays.
True. We play so that way mid jungle can get ahead, and
Mhm.
then after that, the rest of the lanes are just there to be sure that they're even, which is why that we're such okay with like going into CS deficits,
Mhm.
playing safer. Which is like, I don't know. I've been told that's a very like non-ego playstyle, and I'm just like, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? You win.
Who cares? I win.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think I don't know. Apparently, Ruckus told me that ever since, well, because last season I think they lost the series. LLW did with Fried Chicken. If you remember that player.
yeah.
They
I still
might
have,
have.
I
I
still
don't
have him on the
remember.
kernel list for some reason. I don't
Yeah.
even know why.
I think Fried Chicken was the only time they lost the series, and ever since they've added me, even though I was the sub, they haven't lost.
Mhm.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't know.
Yeah. What are you guys thinking for War MVP?
Yeah. Well, we
Brady.
still didn't
Oh.
even clear up MVP or
Oh, did we
on
So
not?
we
the
just
Oh.
go Soko Stormblade. That's
who's
perfectly
voting?
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
Soko Stormblade, right?
Soko
Yeah.
Stormblade.
Yeah.
Okay,
Soko
MVP of the
Stormblade.
losers.
I was pushing for Brady.
Yeah,
I think it's Brady as well.
He's been doing really well actually the last few weeks. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
I feel like this is it's like a common thing with top laners. Like their impact, no matter how big it is always just not really appreciated. Just because I don't know. It's always just like the narrative is like, oh, top lane's an island. They don't do anything. They just roll up and tank.
Well, I will say, and you guys can disagree all you want.
Sorry, I'm
Nepal and
getting
Rocket-
I'm getting
Nepal and-
threatened in my DMs by my jungler saying, "Whoa, whoa,
Hey.
whoa! We lost a game with Fried
Hey.
Chicken, not a series. Get it right,
Not
or
a
else."
series. All right, fair. Okay, right. So they're gonna take him out back and kind of finish Nitro off, but
Nitro won't be playing next week.
Don't
Yeah,
be
he won't be
surprised if
playing.
you see their other
Personal
sub.
reasons.
I won't be playing anyone else again.
What I was gonna say was TPP and LLW, who many people consider two of the top teams, if not the best two teams. They definitely have island top laners. I think you all will agree with me.
Yeah.
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 But ELU is kind of taking notice, and ELU is kind of doing the island top thing as well. Like, junglers are not visiting top lane as much because I think they're taking after you guys. Do you agree or disagree?
I think it's super easy to put your top laner on a tank and just, like I said, have them roll up and just be a wall. And then you can focus on stacking drags in the early game, which is a really good win condition. So I think that is a good way to play. But I think if you understand that like they're just gonna leave a top laner up there, and Ruckus in this last game was on Mordekaiser, which you can't really leave on an island as much as like a Shen or an Ornn. So I think War did a good job capitalizing on that. And like, all right, let's just play to the opposite side. We'll get this Urgot super far ahead, and what can they do?
And let me just overstate how important that win was, that Game 3 win by War. It puts them into the playoffs. Like, obviously, the season's not over, but now I don't know. It was a big win. It was a big win.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, they already held the tiebreaker over GCC.
Oh, yeah. Oh, did they?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they beat us 2-1.
So they were already in playoffs.
That's right. That's right. No, you're right. Yeah. Forgot about that. Awesome. Well, so MVP of the losers goes to Brady. I think we're
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Last series.
Last series.
All right. I am gonna
GCA.
say one thing about this series that people need to understand. Like I say every single time, don't give Span Leona. Like they gave him Leona game 3, and it didn't work out well for them.
You can't ruin
9-9
the
and
fun
forever.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's good guy Tad giving Span Leona for the first time, but like I don't know.
Speak on behalf of TPP. There's a chance we can give him Leona.
I mean,
Maybe in a game 3.
if you're up 2-0 game 3, just give it to him. Let him have his fun. That's. But yeah, I mean, I think it was good that Tad pulled a game out of this series. I don't think a lot of people expected them to, because of how they've been playing recently. But they won that game too. It was a close game, pretty active. But yeah, they had a big team fight comp, and I think that really just caught people off guard on the side of GCA in that the second game. But other than that, I mean, game 3 for me is just like you give Span Leona, and then
I did enjoy watching. I did enjoy watching that game 2 constant back and forth.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh well, GCA is about to win the game, and they don't end.
Yeah.
Okay, GCA could win the game again, and they don't end. And now TAD is gonna win the game, and they don't end. Okay, this game's gonna go on for a lot longer.
Can we all just agree TAD actually really impressed this series? I think they looked impressive. Even the games they lost were kind of like they looked better than people thought they would.
Yeah,
Kalia
I think they look
top
better.
Scuttle crab.
Yeah.
I think they look better than I still think they can play. They can do more. Like I still think Sunny stepped up a bit more this series. I still think he can do more. We've been saying that all year. I'm still gonna flame him for that. I still think he could be dying less. And honestly, I think that's the big thing. For me, I think I need him to see him die less. I know that a lot of times we say like, oh, if you're in losing games, we want to see you dive in, get in there, try to get kills. But I don't think they're in those situations when he's dying. I think he's dying in a side lane or going for like ego 1v2s, which I've seen work out. Throwback to that Urgot game that he solo won where he like 1v3'd. And yeah, so I think if he just cleans those a bit more, I think they definitely have a chance to make it to playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. TAD is definitely thick in the playoff race. Like, people don't understand. If they do well, if they even like 1-2 the rest of the season, they could probably make playoffs. Like they don't even have to win a series the rest of the season, but if they can win a game off every series, they could still make playoffs. Like that's the situation.
They lose every tiebreaker.
Yeah, they're two games back. Yeah, they're 2 games back.
2 every game. They lose every tiebreaker.
Think about this. If GCC goes 0-3 the rest of the season. Wait, have you guys played TAD yet?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, never mind. Then you're right. It is physically impossible. It is physically impossible. Never mind. I didn't know if you guys.
Oh, you guys played them this week.
Yeah.
Okay,
So So like I was saying, I think this series is probably what decides, or who decide. This series probably decides who is pushing
Sure.
or fighting for the 6th spot
Yeah.
between War and whoever wins.
Yeah.
I think if you lose this, it's super hard to make it up there because GCC is playing GCA, TPP, and LOW, and then also TAD is playing LOW and TPP. So I think you have to win this series if you want to make it in for both
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
And honestly, like TAD looking a bit better this series, so I think they're on the uptrend. So I think there's a good shot that they take 2. I'll say 2 off GCC. There's a good chance.
Yeah, fair enough. So-
Okay.
Yeah.
Impact
Sorry.
players, what do you guys think?
Yeah, so for awards, let's see here. Give me 1 second. I had them up.
MVP for me is gonna be 999 Forever. I know we're like, oh, we just don't want to go by kills and whatnot, but he was 12-1 and 11 in game 1 and 21 and 9 in game 3. Those are 2 hard carries. Mudcap did well in game 1, but not. He just kind of was there game 3. I think in the games that they won, it was completely just 999 Forever.
Mm-hmm.
Winning.
That's usually how GCA wins. 999 Forever builds himself a 3 to 4 kill lead, and then we'll just transition it into more kills, which is why I hear him say, like, you know, he deserves to be the best mid for that, but as well, it's just that his team still can sometimes lose with it. It's just, if you want to shut down GCA, you just have to shut down everyone else.
I said something the other day to you, Nitro. I said, if we're just talking about laning phase, I actually do think 999 Forever is the best mid laner in the league.
No, I agree.
If we're just talking about laning phase, but that, I think Stormblade is the best mid laner in the league if we're talking about overall. White Wazowski's right there as well. He's definitely in the mix with those 3. In fact, we were talking about an all-star team a while back, and we don't even know which of those 3 mid laners we would put mid, honestly.
True.
But
it's really dependent on like who the enemy will play, because the problem with ELU is like every role kind of has a clear defined like best player, kind of sorta, like you can tell who the best player is. ADC, I think it's ISO. Nothing against you, Spirit.
Yeah, I honestly straight up. I've been running
ISO.
it down.
Hey man, I'm on a 7-game loss streak in ranked. I don't know.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Well, if you could put me at all 5 roles, but there's only one of me.
Oh my god.
So,
shut
like,
up.
Honestly.
So you brought this up, so I guess we'll talk about it on the podcast. I think it's top. It's Sunny.
Oh wait, hold
Jungle.
on. We should do players,
Player
impact
wins.
players for the series first, and then we should.
Sure.
We've already. So who's the under the radar?
999 Forever, I agree.
Yeah.
MVP.
Do you give it to
under the
Mudkip,
radar?
or do you give
I
it to
was
Span
looking
away?
at Mudcap. Span. I keep saying I hate it when he plays these defensive champions.
We have to at least give either Span or the enemy team an award for giving him Leona.
True.
Yeah, I give it to Tad. just give Span Leona. I don't like Span on defensive champions. I know he has had some good games on Thresh. I think he had an okay game on Set a couple times in the LLW series. He had, but whenever I see like these Gallios and the Threshes, it always just feels like their team loses so much playmaking that it's kind of hard for them to find ways back into the game if they're behind. I think that was kind of an issue in the second game where Tad had they had the Seraphine ult, the Wukong flanks, Yone ult, and you just layer all this shit on top of it. And then on GCA you have Flash Tibbers and you have Jarvan ult. And if those are down, if Annie doesn't have Flash, Jarvan doesn't have ult, you're lacking engage. And I think that was kind of hard for them to clear out, to close out the game. And I just didn't feel like Span was really able to do a whole lot. I know that's a long explanation for why I don't think Span
I
think
think
in
I
those
know. I think I know
comps,
who it is.
they have to
But
play
Yeah.
more.
I won't.
I think in those type of comps where you're against like that huge like Wukong,
Mhm.
Misfortune, Seraphine, I think Thresh is. I think if you're playing like if they have just a Gnar ult for disengage, like the Jarvan can ult someone and then flag out.
Mhm.
And I think they're trying to play more for like peel, just peel
Mhm.
back and then have a Felios like kite back, killing everyone.
Yeah.
I'm a. I'm a
But like
be on.
if you miss like the Thresh fillet or Gnar doesn't have ult or anything, and they
It's
just
just
get onto a Felios, as soon as a Felios dies, you don't have
anything. Yeah.
anything to like really kill them all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Under the radar MVP. Let me argue for Violet Cap because first of all, he won lane all 3 games, even the game they lost, and
Mhm.
he had a very surprising kill participation score as what seemed like an island top laner. When an
Mhm.
island top laner has this KP, it really does. And they did put him on an island for at least one of those games, if not two.
Mhm.
It's very impressive to me. Also winning lane, a lot of other things. His everything looked impressive to me from Violet Cap those games. I would give him under the radar, but there's an argument to be made for a lot, even Toasty Boy in my opinion. But it's really up in the air to me.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I've also been informed he is one of the top Dariuses
Ooh,
in the
there you
world.
go. There you go. In the world. Wow.
Yeah,
In the world,
one
yeah.
rank 1,111 on North America.
You just take out 2 of those ones.
Hey, it's pretty good
He's
if you
like
take out 2 of
practically
those
right
ones.
behind Flandre on Darius.
True.
Exactly.
uh,
I was like the top 1,000th fiddlestick main in the U.S. for a while.
Oh, Sunny is gonna go ahead and be mad and chat at Mikey. Here we go.
I will. I will. I will.
Wait, did he
second
not?
your.
Did he not?
I think. Winning
he did.
is
I
like.
thought he did.
I think he went even. Like he did a good job, holding his own against Sunny.
Sonny's. You know what? Sonny's right. This game that I'm looking at, it looks like Sonny did win lane.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I mean,
Sonny. I'm
we're
sorry, Sonny.
we all like Sunny is one of the best top laners in the league potentially. Like just by potential. That
Yeah.
it hasn't been how it's turned out. So I think this season, but I think the fact that Violet held his own against is something to
Oh, you know what?
commend.
Actually, yeah. Technically, gold-wise, Sonny. And
Yeah.
I'm not just looking at total gold because you have to look at gold when the.
Yeah.
I'll say gold-wise, definitely Sonny did win 2 of the 3 games. I take
Mhm.
back what I said. I'm sorry, Sonny.
I still think it's good. Violet's a good nomination. He did have a pretty big impacts in the first 2 games. Third game was, I think, a bit less on the Cho'Gath, but he still did okay. And honestly, I feel like everyone on GCA this series was around even, besides 99 Forever, in terms of like carrying the team. So I think it can go either way.
Yeah. I just like that KDA as far as a
Mhm.
top laner goes because top laners typically have, like statistically, top laners have the lowest KP on the team. That's like
What
a
do you?
statistical
Yeah.
fact in every region. But
What do you got? You two got input on this or
I'm good with giving Cap under the radar.
Nitro?
I guess.
but plus he did so even if Sunny won lane, which I take blame, that was a misquote. Sunny did win lane a majority of the time. Even I mean, arguably he went up against the best top laner in the league and held his own.
Mechanically wise, yeah.
Yeah, he held his own, which is
Yeah.
grounds enough for me to give him under the radar, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. I'm on board with that, yeah.
All right.
Okay. So
All
Violet
right, we can
Cup
move
is-
on.
All right.
All right.
And now, lose your MVP, Sunny.
Yeah, I'll give it to Sunny.
Yeah.
Again, I'd like to see him die less, but he did better. He's stepping up. He helped carry these games. Yeah, that's kind of what I got on that.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't disagree. I
Right,
would agree
so-
with what you said.
All right. So.
Wait, say that. Say that
Oh
again.
no, I agree with what Spirit said.
No,
I think-
the name of the person so I can put it
Sonny.
in the ELU.
Oh,
article.
Sonny.
Sunny.
Sonny, yeah.
Okay. So
Sorry.
power rankings. We already have 3 of the 4 power rankings already done. I'll wait for Spirit to do his.
Oh, mine is the same. Wait, is it? No, it's not.
Should
All right,
not be the same.
here. Well, I'll just list mine out. Start. Number 1 and number 2, I have LOW and TPP. That's the same. I am going to shake up the top 3 and put NYM as 3 and GCA as 4, and then I'm gonna go TKK, War, TAD, GCC, Rev. Thoughts?
Okay.
Okay. Mikey's, if you want me to read out yours.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Sure. Mikey has LOW1, TPP2, GCA3, New York Mutants 4, TKK5, War 6, 7 GCC, 8 TAD, 9 Rev.
Yeah, I stand by my power rankings. I don't think much got shaken up. TKK moved up a spot for their impressive showing, but overall, I could even be somebody could wrangle TKK above NYM for me, but in my opinion, nothing much got shaken up. The only thing that got shaken up was War moves down a spot, TKK moves up.
I don't think
I
TKK wrangles down New York Mutants.
Yeah.
I don't think they do either.
That's fine. They did play and it was
Yeah,
2-1.
they lost
But
1-2. Yeah.
But here's the thing with that series. From what I heard, TKK was just not in the right mindset, and New York Mutants, that was one of their best series.
Yeah.
In my mind, that was just an even series, but obviously, New York Mutants comes away with the win.
Mm-hmm.
I stand by my power rankings, but if you guys can obviously prove it wrong if you want.
My argument for why NYM goes above GCA, I think NYM I think they've lost one series, and that was to GCA. I still think they should have won that series. That was a big throw on them part. So, but I feel like GCA, their play style is become somewhat predictable. It's get 9-9 forever ahead. If Span is on get 9-9 forever ahead, he carries games. And then if Span isn't on like a high agency, like the bot lane impact just seems a lot worse. So I think if you just keep Span off these high impact roamers, Rakan, Leona, maybe like a Nautilus or Rel or something like that, and put him onto it like a Thresh or Galio, like he did in these series, where your entire thing is just peel, then it's a lot harder for them to do things. And if 9-9 forever isn't ahead. So I think if teams start to figure out like, oh, we just don't feed 9-9 forever, we can make this series competitive. I think that's easier to play. They're easier to play against now, and I think NYM has really just come into their own. Like they've been playing together for 5 weeks now, and I don't really see them slowing down. Maybe they lose a series against one of your two teams, but I still think they're probably a top 3 team at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. All right.
All right,
That's
Isa.
fair.
Your power rankings.
Well, first off, I will say I am biased, obviously. I'm putting TPP 1 because I just like end of the season. LW 2. I put GCA 3, but like I'm hesitant. Like them and NYM, I think is super contested. Because if Forever like pops off, obviously I think GCA just wins. But I think it's like NYM has their skill spread out a little bit more across their players instead of relying if like Forever doesn't get fed. It's a bit harder for GCA to win a game. My 5 is TKK, and then my 6 through 9 is the same as your guys for the most part. It's War, GCC, TAD, and Rev.
Okay, I think you can understand from a logistical standpoint why we probably can't put TPP number 1 though.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You can understand from a logistical standpoint because you guys have lost
Yes.
2 series now,
Mhm.
and another team took a game off you. I think. Maybe.
We've only lost the 2 series we lost. The only games we've dropped.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha. So from a logistical standpoint, we probably can't put you number 1, but I
Yes.
can at least put you number 2, at least.
Okay.
I see I can see an argument for number one. Honestly, I from the way the regular season's playing out, I
Yeah.
think in the regular season you're two.
I don't think.
But
Yeah, I don't
I
think
do
I don't
think
think we can finish one in regular season.
yeah,
I think we two in regular season. But this
I
is
do
I'm
think
taking playoffs into account.
yeah, I do think you have a chance to win playoffs. I again like NYM and LOW are strong teams, but there's definitely room for competition there, and a good chance that you guys take number one. But in regular season, I don't
Yeah,
think that's
regular season.
viable.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to be the villain of this podcast. I do everything based off a week. So my rankings are LOW, number 2 is GCA, number 3 is TPP, number 4 is New York, 5 is TKK, 6 is War, 7 GCC, 8 TAD, 9 Rev. I have TPP third because I think we all expected for them to come out the gate and really dominate TKK, and it just didn't happen.
hmm
So that
Um,
is the
All right.
only reason why I would even
I
put
no,
them
I could
there after the
I could see it.
shellacking they gave War and beat them in 3 games in 57 minutes,
yeah.
only for them to come out and lose.
You know, we like to have the 18-minute average game time. You know.
Yeah, but I'm saying that because
Yeah, yeah.
it.
I will say over that Monday morning after the war game, I woke up and did a Windows update, and then my computer wouldn't turn on anymore. So I didn't have a computer until 10 minutes before the games. So I
Yeah.
don't I don't think I was a sole proponent of losing, but I mean we didn't practice together.
hmm
And
Yeah,
I was very not warmed up.
I was a
Yeah.
huge proponent of that as well because
Not to
I,
take anything away from TKK, they obviously caught us off guard anyway. But I
yeah,
don't
with the
think we
Tom
are as
Kench,
prepped and ready as we have been with
Senna.
the other games.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
say that, but I'm just putting you third because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not trying to like be like say, oh, you guys, well, you did shit the bed.
We did,
Yeah,
yes.
no, there's no
I
like polite way to say that, and I apologize for saying that. But I mean, it's just something that we come to expect that you
See, I
guys
had to
should
figure out
dominate.
who on TKK paid Dell
Yeah.
to fry
True,
on motherboard.
well,
true.
well, they already messaged me about that, and
True, yeah.
so
You were there holding my graphics card hostage.
yeah. Dell was
Mikey
like,
is a
wait,
spy.
how much? How much money? It's a part of the script. It's not that I'm a spy. The script has to come true.
True,
It
true,
it
very
has to
true.
come true.
So that's the only reason why I have you guys at third. I think you'll easily retake the second spot. No time.
I
But
hate to brag, but if we did an exact average of all 4 of our power rankings, I think it would be mine.
All right, all right,
Let
all
me do
right.
this
You might be
No, no,
mathematically.
no,
Let me
no,
do
no,
it
no, no.
mathematically.
No. All right, move on quick before his ego gets out of control.
okay,
I
so
can
everything
calculate
It'll take him too
everything
long.
4 below is like what we have because 3 of us
Yeah,
chose
everything
New
Yeah,
far
I
below.
I think
We all have
the
LLW1. I
Yeah.
think it's exactly like how Mikey has it.
Hey, look
the
at the
thing in
average
the
come out.
bottom five that's different for me is I have GCC 8 and you guys have a 7
Yeah,
and
you have
pad
TAD and
8.
GCC swap.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Well, there is an
so
argument to be made there, I guess. But you're the
honestly,
one on the team, so.
yeah, the way I see is like GCC is going through some roster moves right now. Like again, Trendset is gone, so we have to scramble. I think Mom is looking for a replacement jungler, but we don't have one yet. So
I mean, you could probably activate one of the sub pool members.
yeah, so I think
We're trying. We're
she's
trying.
working on it. So I think now, like with that, it's safer to put Tad higher. It just makes I think a bit more sense because
It's
they
on
have
standby until you
yeah.
figure out your roster. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if we had a roster that was full and we weren't kind of do we have to swap areas around and stay there around, then I think you can put us higher. But for now, I think it's safer to put us at 8.
I'm okay with changing it on the article, because you're the inside source and you don't have a full team right now.
Mhm.
So technically, yes, T80 is probably ahead of you on the power rankings.
So
based on what you just told us.
Yeah. I say this every week. I think we can win games, we can win series. It's just it's safer. Like from what we've seen and what information we have, it's safer to put us lower. Also, just to protect me if like we get dumpstered and we're like, oh no, I had us lower anyway. Don't worry about
yeah, guys, come on.
But I think it is just a more responsible placement.
And
now.
TAD had a super close series against one of the top teams. If you guys are up for making that change, I'm up for putting it on the article. It's up to you guys.
Was it
I'll
close?
I'll trust your judgment.
I feel like there was one game that was close.
Which one are we talking about?
Well, I mean,
Okay,
if we
GCA,
just look at last week,
if we're talking about GCA TAD, one game was close.
Two games.
Here it is.
I would say 2 games were close.
If we look at
not
last
say
week,
game 1 was that close.
They had one close game.
2 of the 3 games were close.
Yeah, they had one close game, maybe 2. We had 0. So that means right. If we just look at last week.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you don't want to, we can keep it how it is because I'm on the fence.
I'm keeping mine how it is. I believe that.
No, but we have to do an average of ours for the article, though. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's basically like, have I convinced anyone that we are lower on the tier list?
You know what?
If not, then you just leave it.
You've convinced me, but it's so IsoSquare. If he,
I can agree with that.
Dude, I should do debate.
Follow your logic.
I mean, but
politics, man.
You should do debate.
I am a politics
major.
major.
Your own
I know you are. You told me. All right, so
debating against your own team, I guess. I don't know.
All right, so matchup upcoming of the week. There's a matchup I want to upcoming of the week. I know it's not going to be picked. I do want it though.
TKK, LLW, and TPP, NYM.
Yeah,
straight
TPP,
up.
NYM. Those are the only two.
I was going to say it's GCC versus TAD, baby. The
Again,
6th place battle.
Actually true.
The team wins that has the best chance of reaching 6th place. Because I think GCC loses head-to-head against War. And
we do.
Yeah, and then you would also lose it against TAD, so you would have to get the guaranteed better game record than both of them in order for you to have a possibility of getting into playoffs, which I don't think would be possible, and I think you would be the first, you and Rev would be the first teams eliminated.
Yeah.
If Rev doesn't show up.
This is such an important week. There's 3 matchups that could be.
Honestly, I would argue maybe not matchup, but I would argue 4. Like every single game, like War versus Rev is super important for War. Like if they don't 3-0 that, then it's like a huge like, oh, maybe they're not 6th place material. Maybe they got lucky against GCC and LLW in that one game, maybe, but like, cause like Rev, no offense to Rev, they're the worst team. Like everyone's 3-0'd them. Again, they've had the hardest series schedule, but right now we're assuming that they're 0-3. Yeah, they do,
bloody.
which is good to see. And again, like I think if they play around mid, Dr. Lula with their jungle, like I mentioned last week, they can make that series competitive. Again, I wouldn't put that as matchup or under the radar, but I think it's important. And then I'd say matchup for me is NYM TPP. For game of the week is NYM TPP.
Oh, over TKK LLW?
I think TKK LLW is going to be good. It's like, is TKK a good team, or did they just pull out a funky strat against TPP? I think there's an argument to be made for under the radar there, but I do think I agree with Nitro that TAD versus GCC should be under the radar because it's 2 close teams in the standings with huge playoff potential. So it should be a good series, and it has big potential, which I think has TPP and MYM too.
I'll push back on that. I'll say we know TKK is a good team because they've won 3 series in a row. What I think the question is, are they a top team? Which I don't personally think they're top 3. But we know they're a good team because you don't win 3 series in a row in ELU being a bad team as far as the average, right?
One thing I'll say about that.
Are they a top team? I don't know.
Yeah, one thing I'll say, they played TAD and GCC the 3-sub GCC. So those 2 wins are, I'd say, asterisks. But the win against TPP, that's big. So, but there, it's like, did they just get lucky in that series? Did they just pull out a strat? Because like these other 2 series, like,
Yeah,
are
fair enough. Fair enough.
like not taking anything away from them. They played very well. But looking at this series, I do think LLW should have it in the bag. If they don't, then TPP or TKK is probably top 4, maybe even top 3.
Sure.
But I do think LLW should have that series. At
So
least 2-1,
You're
probably
rooting for
3-0.
NYM versus let's see here.
TPP.
NYM versus TPP for matchup of the week.
Yes.
I agree.
I'm okay with that. I
I just
actually
wanted to give a shout out to Tad versus GCC.
that is a huge matchup. That actually is a huge matchup.
Yeah.
What about you,
All right.
ISO? Are you rooting for yourself this week? Game of the week?
The only reason I would say it's game of the week is I think it matters more for the top seeding, like
Mhm.
the seeding between the 2 and 3 and 4, than TKK and LW will end up mattering. Because I
Yeah.
think NYM and TPP are closer skill-wise
Yeah, so if TPP
on like
3-0,
expected rankings than TKK and LW are.
if TPP 3-0, then they go 11-4, which makes them second. New York Union still ends up first, and if LLW 3-0, then the next game will determine who has first.
Yeah, then NYM and LW be tied, and TPP would be 1 game behind both.
Yeah.
And then if TPP loses, though, I think that really pushes. Like, I think it's almost not impossible. It's very hard for them
It
to
would
get
be
a bye.
hard to get top
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
I think we would just get 3rd.
Yeah,
point.
like third or fourth, depending on how. Have you
Yeah.
guys played GCA yet?
I think that's our
No,
last.
that's the
week.
last
Yeah,
game.
so
of
I-
the
last
yeah,
last.
game.
depending on how the last game goes, then I think it's like third or fourth.
Yeah.
If you guys lose that series. And honestly, like, it's 2 really good teams. It should be super fun to watch. Like, I think the GCC TAD game has a potential, if one team doesn't show up, to just be a flop. Same with TKK LLW. If TKK doesn't show up or LLW prepares well against them, it's a flop. And then again, Rev series always have a chance to be a flop. It's just the chance for the inverse to happen, where someone surprises us, is possible, and that leads to some good narratives.
For sure. I mean,
Alright.
we still gotta settle under the radar MVP matchup of this week.
Oh, I would go
Why
TAD
do
GCC.
we need to?
Yeah, I'm down for Tad.
Hey,
Yeah,
I do it for the article every week. It's kind of
Okay,
fun.
Tad GCC. There you go.
All right, it's kind of fun.
All right, and now on to the most controversial thing we'll talk about today. Stormblade declared war. Stormblade, my
Alright.
mid laner, posted his personal rankings in the E-League chat. What proceeded to happen was the release of the Riot Zoo.
A large
Yeah.
amount of messaging.
Hey,
One thing, so I wanted to talk about this because I think people are taking it too seriously, or like getting too. It's one guy's personal power rankings. Straight, if you don't like it, make your own. Like,
Well, I think the only
They're
reason people are taking it a little bit more seriously, like they are upset about it, is because he he put himself at like the top mid laner, obviously. I mean, that's what like I would put myself at the top ADC. I think whoever's making it on the top teams would put themselves on the top. But I think that people like look up to him and they value what he has to say about
Yeah.
the players and the teams.
it's just like the amount of flame that was going on in the chat, or like, I don't know, flame, just like, I don't drama. I don't know. It people in my mind took it too seriously and took it the wrong way. Like, you're looking at one guy contributing to the community. He's bringing his own point of view. He has his own way of ranking people. Like, again, like, it shouldn't be taken seriously. It's like power rankings. Like, it's just 4 guys
Yeah.
coming in. It's just like, what do we think? Like, if you think that you play better, that you're better than someone, great. Please don't like rage about it in chat. Just play better in the game.
Yeah.
Because like, the
Yeah, like so
amount.
last time, and we saw that I was second, and like so I DM'd Storm and like asked, wanted to know what I could improve on, and that's what I
Mhm.
tried to do.
Yeah. It's just like it's supposed to be something that contributes to the league and contributes to people wanting to get better. Not it shouldn't be a huge controversial thing that people get super heated over. I think that just takes away from an aspect of the community that could be very helpful to people, very just entertaining, like promote discussion. I
Yeah.
don't think it deserves people
No.
like spamming chat. Like, how could you put me under this person? Like, I don't know. Like,
How
that's just
I
what he
don't get
thinks.
I don't get
Like,
how somebody's opinion could make anybody that mad anyway. And I respect Stormblade
yeah,
considerably,
very good player. Like, very
but what
smart, but like,
but
he's a
like
guy.
the same thing happened in Scuffed League in the Scuffed League days when I was the sole person making the power rankings and people would get pissed at me. I'm like, this is one guy's opinion. I mean, granted, now it's 3 to 4 people's opinions, so
Yeah.
it holds more weight. But it's like I didn't get why people got so mad at me. I'm like, if you're mad at me, go out and perform better. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, so I don't mind his power rankings. I'm very pro freedom
Yeah.
Yeah,
of speech.
like,
I'm very pro freedom of speech, if that makes sense. Uh,
sure, we'll call it that. Yeah.
yeah, we'll call it that. Like, go out and make your power rankings. And then people just need to perform better if they think that they aren't correct. And
Yeah.
by the way, I think ELU has very good players. Even
Hmm.
our let's say our worst team is Rev, like hypothetically, I mean
I mean,
statistically they
they
are
are like statistically
yeah, statistically they
standings.
are our worst
They're
team.
yeah.
I literally think our worst team Rev, I on it, like if we're just ranking them among average league players, I think they actually do really well. I think
Hmm.
they beat most average league players
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So ELU is an above average league. So people shouldn't get that butt hurt when they're, or just hurt when
Uh-huh.
they're ranked lower, because it's like we're an above average league as far as the average league player. You know,
I will say I am still trying to sort all this out, but I, with the help of Scaly and some other people, if they want to, I have made a doc. So like, people were complaining about what they were put and stuff. So I could, if anyone wants to, they can just DM me on Discord and I can send them a link for it to, like, collectively as more than just like this is my one. I'm one guy. Here's my opinion. As a collective, like actually have more of a discussion about it,
Hmm.
if that makes sense, about wanting to put like player rankings. I don't know how accurate they're going to be because people are going to have bias, obviously. So the more people who like want to help would spread out the bias a little bit more.
Hmm.
sure, sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's always like really saddening to me when I do see that because Storm literally says, "Hey, if you want to know why I rated you this way, come and DM me and I'll try and help explain it to you."
Hmm.
And then it just spawns a massive shit show instead. It's like,
Yeah, I think more of it should be taken care of privately than just airing it out for everyone to hear.
Even
yeah,
like, yeah, it's just like,
If you have a specific problem with your ranking, you can ask him personally
yeah.
about it.
And like when it's like again, it's one person who thinks you may be worse than this other person. If you disagree, make your own, post your own. We can compare,
Yeah.
or like join the collaborative one that ISO is talking about, or honestly, just be like, DM, like don't flame in chat. Like it
Yeah.
takes away from so much, and it's just it's not good for the community. The way I see it, like it discourages people from doing stuff like this. And while some people don't like it, I think a lot of people do like to see where people think they stack up. Um, and so, I mean, again, that's kind of why I wanted to touch on this. It's like, sure, you may have different opinions, write them down, prove that the Stormblade was wrong
Hmm.
through play. Write your own lists, and we can start a dialogue. But like, if people are just spamming chat with all caps, then what's anyone really getting out of that?
But like I said, I will reiterate, even if you're last on his power rankings or anybody's power rankings, I still put you above the average league player. Like
Yeah.
I do think this is an above average league, and I do think Rev beats most teams out there. You know.
Yeah.
I do think
Straight up.
some comments where they say like, "Oh, you have to be above a certain rank in order to play competitive League of Legends." Like, my team treats us like as a semi-competitive league, so we naturally try
Yeah.
to scrim every week. We practice, we make
Mhm.
game plans and all that. Like, you cannot do that. That'll be fine. But I assume TPP also does the same exact thing. If I'm right, scaling ISO.
To be honest with you, no.
No,
Actually, no.
you just don't do any
We
of
have
it.
been having trouble getting people to scrim us, and we don't. Like Brick has, we have people who work, so we have schedules to work around. So for the most part, we just show up on game day.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Like, long story short, please don't flame in chat. It makes me sad.
I'm all up for hearty, like lighthearted trash talk, like very lighthearted,
Yeah.
kind of like what we used to do in the Scuff League days. But I'm not up for toxicity, obviously.
Yeah.
I do think like some people do bring up a good point against it. Like, it's just only Stormblade doing it. You know, it
Well,
is
do
gonna
your
be.
own.
It is
Do your
only
own.
Stormblade doing these rankings, and you can do your own and all that. And I can agree that's a valid criticism. Like, hey, why don't you just like ask us how we feel about this and all
Yeah.
that? Of
I
course,
don't know.
most mid laners would say that they're number one in the league, but
Again, there are arguments for like straight up. Like, I think you could argue, like Mikey's argued that like Lane 99 Forever is best in the league. So maybe people think he's higher than what Stormblade puts. So like, again, if we just have one person and everyone's attacking that one person, it's not healthy for development or
Yeah.
discourse. So
Yeah.
please don't do
And
that.
if you wanna like talk about your standing in those rankings, don't attack the person. Like bring up stats to
Mm,
like prove it.
yeah.
Yeah. And
that's
again,
why
guys.
I disagree with him as well, and I tell him no. I think IsoSquare is the best ADC,
I agree with that. Yeah.
and I'm just like, okay, well, why do you think IsoSquare is the best ADC? Because I just think IsoSquare literally just plays the best ADC around this entire league. And the man
I
just,
just
I mean,
play
to
the
be
most
fair,
league out of the ADCs.
Mm,
no, I've been playing as much League recently. I've just been winning a lot more, so I'm now like almost plat 2. It's just that
Hey, I'll meet you in the middle.
okay, I'll be there soon. Don't worry. Knowing my fucking ranked luck, it's gonna go all the way down back to gold. Don't worry.
Yeah, I got the scare in mid 2 times in a row. If I keep hitting him, I'll see you there soon.
Okay.
And again, guys, keep in mind, I am the best at every position. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just-
So
I'm just- I'm
honestly,
just
like,
kidding.
why are we even having this
That's not-
conversation about
that's
like
not
Mikey
unspoken.
is just at the top? Like,
I mean, that was an unspoken like agreement.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
unspoken. Like, yeah.
that's why you're
We
not on the
all
list.
we all
like,
agreed to that
to
before
make-
we agreed
to
to
make
any
other
type
people
of
feel better.
rankings.
Yeah.
But
So
besides that, yeah.
what I
sure.
like, okay, so this is my argument that I used when I was talking to him about this, and hopefully this encourages some healthy discussion about it, is the fact that ISO just doesn't die.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. That's
ISO,
true.
you had your like most deaths in a series, and you had 10. That was
Yeah.
the highest amount of deaths you had in a series so far.
Yeah, I think, well, compare that to me, who's ranked above him. I have 59, I think. Where am I? I'm 48 and 49. So like, look at this is another like look at our stat sheet. Like, I'm falling behind a bit on my stuff, but if you look at the champion stats and player stats, it's very
Yeah, the
comprehensive.
champion stats should be up
Yeah.
to date.
So you can look at that. You can be like message in chat like I disagree. Here's a stat. Why? Like this is the kind of discourse we want to encourage. This is kind of why we have this stat sheet. So people can
Yeah.
really So like that's what we want to encourage. And that's what we implore you to do. If you disagree with the list, bring evidence, bring reasons, and then we can start some conversations. If we're just like, no, that's stupid, I'm clearly better, and then what's that really do? Like, that does nothing.
See, I'll give you guys a secret. I don't die a lot because every time I die, that's some flame from Mr. Scaling Circle over here.
Ooh.
Look at my trash
He's trying
ADC
to
well
avoid
in the
the
lane.
whip at
He-
night.
he's my brother, so
He
Yeah.
just
I'll tell ya.
walks in with the fucking sandal.
I get the belt, guys. Come on.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to say
I'm
something
gonna get the belt
interesting.
for this.
Spanaway did overtake first in assists, which is kind of nutty. I thought nobody would, because nobody had like 195,
Yeah.
which was really insane. I
But-
thought, okay, so nobody's
but
gonna touch
nobody-
this.
Nobody did have to sub out one game, and he's gonna have to sub out again this week. I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, he has something
Yeah.
out again this week.
Yeah.
So
I-
it's
yeah.
almost not fair. It's almost not fair.
Yeah, I mean, Spanaway got one extra game and has one more assist.
Yeah.
So,
So I'd still give the edge to nobody if that's the case.
sorry, Spanaway. I try to, be nice to you, but just
Dude,
the Mikey boom.
I'm
Dude,
sorry. I'm sorry.
He keeps
I'm
playing
sorry.
Galio. Like, don't say sorry.
Yeah, wait.
Don't
He's
say
playing Leona.
sorry.
Leona and Galio? Oh no.
Don't say sorry. How toxic.
Stone and
I do
Suns.
know something interesting. I think out of like 10 games played minimum this season, I think some players have like really low assist numbers as
Mhm.
well that I also have to look at. I think number 1 is Fichi, who has 55 assists after 12 games. Then it's Vacantech with 69. No, it's Eris, I think.
Yeah,
Eris,
with 59. Yeah,
and then Wyke has 59 as well.
that's just because White gets all the kills
We just
straight
get,
up.
yeah, we just get
Yeah.
one kills.
Sure.
But yeah. I mean,
Just give Wyke the kills. That's it.
yeah.
Alright, I think that was pretty much everything we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to have to say?
Yeah, one thing I'll say, like, I guess if anyone in the community wants us to talk about something, just message one of us and we'll try to fit it in. We have a pretty standard schedule or plan for each episode, I guess. But if you like have a small thing that you want us to touch on, message that. Because we want to incorporate community into this.
For sure. And we need more guests.
Oh yeah. We're trying to get a guest from each team. So if your team has not been represented, reach out. Even if your team has, reach out to. Like, I don't know. Like, if anyone wants to come, like straight up.
Violet just figured out the IsoSquare scaling circle thing.
Don't worry about it.
I mean,
Wait.
like straight. Like I didn't connect the dots either. Like,
How
I
dare
should.
you
Hidden
non-geometry?
Dude, I hate shapes.
I do.
I-
I hate geometry.
I hate circles, man. I just
hate
see a
it.
circle,
Math
I
over
started to
circle.
lose control.
Mm.
The only reason I have this name is I was playing Minecraft when I was little and I needed a name. And I was
Fair
doing
enough.
math homework when I was thinking about it.
Fun
Before we-
fact,
Before we end the
Glorsnax-
podcast, I do have a couple things, by the way. Whatever.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
So first of all, if you guys haven't seen, we're voting. We're gonna try to make this more of a democracy. If you guys want 5-game series throughout the playoffs or 3 games, the vote is in the announcements. So please go voice your opinion. A lot of people have made good points for both. 5-game series obviously prove a little bit better who the better team is, but
Takes a lot of time. It's draining.
yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of time. So we understand.
Definitely have to start those games earlier if we do
Exactly.
decide on game 5.
Exactly. So go ahead and voice your opinion, and then obviously vote on what you think the next Circus Cup should be, and that's about it from me.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
Isa, do you have anything to say?
Don't grief me in my ranked games.
Okay, I'll meet you there very soon. Obtuse Rumpus.
Remember to ban Kiana, guys.
Fair enough.
True. Spirit, do you have anything?
No. Good luck in your games this upcoming weekend. Yeah. Hope to see you next weekend. Wednesday, approximately 4/7 Eastern. 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. Yeah.
Alright. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another week of the podcast. Is in the books. This was week 5. Week 6 is coming up at the same exact time next week, as said by Mr. SpiritTracks. Next week, guest will be determined as well. Thank you very much for watching. We'll do it in the content announcements. Also, the little Scuttle Crabbers banner is right there, made by Mom. It's so cute. I adore it. I just had to remake the
I love
podcast
it.
thing.
Oh
I
yeah,
love it.
we have a YouTube channel now, so you can,
Yeah.
if you miss an episode, you can go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
All right, so go ahead and be good people. Don't do anything stupid like Mikey would, and just generally have
How
a
dare
good
you.
day.
How dare you?
Have a good one, guys.